Hello everybody, back here again for another vlog a day, and today is Friday the 5th, and today was a lovely, beautiful day to be alive. Got up this morning, I don't know, early enough, but I don't know, it was just earlier than I wanted to be. So I had actually, my day started a little weird on this one because I went for my run at 12:44 a.m. So just a little after midnight, not quite an hour after midnight. Decided to go ahead and get my run done then, partly because I had a bunch of dogs coming tomorrow and did not know if I was going to have time to get my run in and all the dogs. And I had 7 dogs coming tomorrow, which ended up being today. So I was kind of like, technically it's after midnight, so it's today. So, and I had a choice of either trying to go to bed and set my alarm for like 4:30 in the morning, getting up, running in the morning, maybe 5 a.m. at the latest, be able to get my run in time, get back home, get a shower, and then start meeting people who are dropping dogs off from 7 a.m. until noon is my window of all 7 dogs getting dropped off. So there's going to be a lot of piled up time there. I know one of the dogs is aggressive and can't be around other dogs, and there's 2 of the dogs I don't remember exactly their personality. It's been a while since I watched them, and I wasn't certain how well they were going to be left alone, I guess is the best way to put it, why I wouldn't get my run in. And then if the dogs didn't really get along that well, I didn't want to have to have my wife try and be the moderator, the bouncer, the controller of it all. With 7 dogs is a lot, especially when the one is aggressive, and just that dog's energy in the air tends to make the other dogs more ornery. Just even though they're not actually interacting, just being there. I've seen it before where I've had 3 or 4 or 5 dogs here, and that dog show up, and within a half an hour or an hour, like, just the other dogs start behaving poorly. And it's one of those deals that I probably need to stop watching this dog that is aggressive, because it does add energy to the house that I'm not a fan of, but it pays decent. And other than the energy level going up for Bellis, she's pretty easy to deal with, so, and she's old as hell, and she's aggressive, we think, because of a brain tumor, not because of like poor training or just a bad dog. So I really feel extra bad for her because of that situation. But I keep thinking the fact I need to stop watching this dog. But I like the people, and they like me, and their fear is if we take her somewhere else, or they take her somewhere else, they're going to be mean to her, just stuff her in a crate somewhere, and she's going to have a horrible time, which make their vacations and their time away from her much more stressful and all that stuff. So yeah, it kind of is what it is. So yeah, went ahead though, went and got my run in. Like I said, took off at 12:44 a.m., which is weird. Went and got a few miles in. I don't remember how many miles I ran, to be honest with you. Got back home, and it was a beautiful night. Had my big headlamp on, my reflective vest, so I was less likely to get killed by anybody. And overall was a fairly good run. So I was not feeling the best, but I had not got really any sleep the night before because of some family drama deal with my father's father, only one left from that side of the family that's still alive. Everybody for like, my father and both his sisters are gone, and my grandma's gone, and he's there. So yeah, he just annoyed the shit out of me. There was a whole thing there. So kind of is what it is. But it brought back a lot of childhood, just shitty life that I kind of not really worked through, I guess. I figured out I didn't work through it properly. I've just avoided it and pushed it down and all that good fun stuff. So yeah, but it is what it is. So went ahead, and from there, got my shower, and then went to bed. I grabbed some chips and watched a little bit of TV as I kind of got myself asleep. So then about 7:15, people showed up and dropped off the first 2 dogs, which they're supposed to be, actually I take it back, they're supposed to be here before 7:15. I got a text saying to be there 7:38, and I was like, God damn it. So if I'd known that, I would have had time to get my run in the morning. It is what it is. They want to drop off at 7, now it became 7:38 instead. So what are you gonna do? But I went ahead, they got dogs dropped off, that went smooth enough. They headed out, and then I had another dog getting dropped off at 8, and I had texted them and said, hey, send me an ETA, let me know when you're on your way. Because even though people say I'll be there at 8 o'clock, just like this one's there 7:15, 7:30 is when they show up, I want an actual ETA at the time. Well, apparently they didn't bother caring about that, because they said, well, I already told you it was 8. I look up, and there's somebody standing at my front door. And I'm like, oh shit. I got the 2 dogs here that I'm not really sure their personality that much. So I was able to kick them outside real quick, went and got the dog in, and be like, hey, I really need a text when you're on your way over. Like, because, well, we said we'd be here at 8. And I'm like, yes, but so does a bunch of people, and they don't actually show up at 8. So I want to know your ETA when you're on your way. And they're like, okay, so we chatted for a few moments, got the dog in. Their dog is a super hyper crazy boxer. Holy crap, he's just so much energy. So got him in, and then brought the other 2 dogs in the bedroom, got the boxer outside, let him go out and run around the yard a little bit. I introduced the dogs one at a time to him. There's a little bit of issue with the black dog, was a little bit grumpy towards the boxer, but overall it wasn't too bad. They got some good play in, it was all going smoothly. Then I had another client reach out and they said, hey, we're on our way over, we'll be there in about 5 minutes, because they live right down the street from me. So they actually reached out a little bit earlier saying, hey, we're getting about ready to leave, I'll send you an actual ETA when we walk out the door. So that worked out perfectly. Got here, I put the other 3 dogs in the bedroom, and the new 3 dogs, got them here, got them in all the supplies and whatnot, and then I chucked them out in the backyard real quick so the dogs wouldn't bark at each other at the door, so I didn't want that image on the owner's mind as they leave. So chuck them out in the backyard, and then as I was talking to them, we were chatting a little bit, I'd gotten a text, but I didn't check it because I was talking with clients, and it was the aggressive dog with an ETA of 10 minutes on their way. So I look up, luckily where I was standing in the living room talking, saw out the window, saw him pull in, and I was like, hey, we're done chatting now, because that's my aggressive dog, gotta get her inside, and it's all good to go. And they know I have an aggressive dog coming, I keep them all separated, they're all fine with that. So got that dog in, took her straight to the office, so she would just not be interacting with the rest of the dogs. And I was trying to not have her energy before the other dogs at least met. So once those people left, new dog came in, they left, we chatted for a few moments, and they tried to change their date on pickup, and I was like, no, like, you guys have already extended this day by like 5 days longer than you're supposed to. We originally agreed upon whatever, and you guys kept pushing it forward and back on the trip, which was one of those things where I don't like watching their dog that long, because it's too much stress on me. And I had told them that, and they knew that. This trip was the first time they really pushed the boundaries, where they originally asked to watch the dog for a much longer date, and I had said no, so they narrowed it down, and then every week or 2, they would add on another day or 2 each direction, forward and back. And I was a little bit annoyed with it, but so they tried to add another day onto it, and I go, no, you guys, if you're not back in it by then somebody else got to come pick the dog up. Like, it's just, this is already way longer than I like to watch the dog, so we got to get this figured out. They're like, well, we'll figure it out. We should probably be able to make it back then by then. So I don't know if they're planning on being back in town and just going to go like Disney or do something else instead. I don't know, but it is what it is. So yeah, I was like, okay, cool, all good. They headed out. I then brought the dogs out one at a time to meet the other 3 that showed up, and it went fairly smoothly. Everything went good. A little bit of pushing and shoving, a little bit of orneriness had to be corrected, but overall was pretty damn good. It worked out real smoothly, so it is what it is there. So there's like a whole shit ton of plants out here. Unfortunately, none of them really look that good. So well, that big ass snake plant might not be too bad. Hello, you guys getting rid of all this? Yeah. Okay, I got a friend of mine who's waiting to plant. I'll let her know.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Have a good one. So went ahead and got them all together. Everything was fine. So after that, I got them all back inside. Got the aggressive dog, let her out in the backyard, let her pee on some stuff, and let her hang out in the backyard a little bit. And then spent the rest of the day just rotating dogs in and out, And the 2 that were here for daycare, I wasn't really sure they're gonna go. They're supposed to get picked up at like 6 o'clock. So I thought, well, I didn't get any sleep. I'll use this as a really good excuse to go ahead and take a nap. Like, this will be perfect timing. I got time. Basically, I can lay down for an hour or 2. Hopefully the dogs chill out and don't get too rowdy in the house, so I can get a little nap in myself. And I was like, just getting things ready. Like, about now it's about time I want to take a nap. So got a text from the owner. Hey, our trip got cut off early. It was raining, blah, blah, or so we headed home early. Do you want us to go ahead and pick the dogs up now or wait? And I'm like, shit. Because I know they don't live right here in town. They it's on the way back when they're coming from, they're kind of coming through. And I'm like, shit. I'm like, yeah, whenever you want, it's fine, just let me know. Then so we stopped in at Walmart, so we're gonna be about 30 minutes out. We can come grab the dogs. I'm like, okay, cool. Then about 30 minutes later, I get a text, hey, we're got hung up longer than we thought. We're gonna be there in about 25 minutes. I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, that would have been enough time for me to get a nap. I could have said, hey, make it an hour from now, whatever, blah, blah. I could have got a nap in there, but I didn't. So by the time they got there, and we chatted for a few minutes, whatnot, they headed out. And then with the dogs rotating them in and out again, I was just like, I'm awake. Like there's no reason to try and take a nap now, even though I really showed up because I was exhausted. And this COVID shit, whatever I have, is, I thought I was over it more than it is, and today's been really kicking my ass, which probably because I got virtually no sleep and I was out running at midnight, you know. So yeah, it's always fun there. But overall, going good. The dogs are good now. I got down to only 5 dogs now, so works out pretty well. And just chilling. Wife came home from work finally. She ended up working late. She's got so much shit to catch up because she was basically missing work, and she's slow right now with her getting over COVID. Also, her brain just isn't working as fast, so it's taken a lot out of her. So, but she came home, and I had some leftover pizza. After I said, I'm planning to eat leftover pizza. Is there anything else you'd like me to make you instead? She goes, no, I got it. I'll figure it out myself. And I was like, cool. So I had my pizza. We had to watch some dinner. We ended up watching the first episode of the TV show Shameless. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. The first episode is straight fire. It's a great episode. I remember I've seen it off and on throughout the years, but I never like watched it like from 1 through in order kind of thing. It was always like on reruns and stuff. So this ought to be interesting. But part of me thinks that first episode might be the best episode ever. It was just a really good storyline. So, but yeah, we watched it. I hit it back outside and then spent the evening just rotating dogs in and out. Grabbed myself a cigar and got done my first cigar of the evening. I was looking at the time frame. I was like, ooh, you know, it's early enough. I probably could grab another cigar, but it's also, I'm pretty exhausted, so I'm just gonna go to bed. So got the dogs in, got them all their treats, got them all placed where they need to be, all the dog beds around. Ended up with 2 of the dogs up on our bed with us, and they're a little bit of bed hogs, but overall we found our spot where we need to be. We had room, and we wrapped her up and called it a night. So yeah, that's all I got for right now. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have yourself a safe, wonderful day. Thanks for watching.